So next we learn that Satan inspires peaceful Muslims who refrain from fighting.
Quran 3:155. Those who turned back the day the two armies clashed, Satan caused them to backslide, fail in their duty, and run away from the battlefield.
In plain English, Satan is to blame for their failings, but they will roast in hell anyway. Ever willing to define good Muslims as fighters and bad Muslims as peacemakers, we hear this from the God of War.
Quran 3:156. O you who believe, be not like the unbelievers who say of their brethren when they are traveling through the land engaged in raids and fighting, if they had stayed with us they would not have died or been slain. This is that Allah may make it anguish, a cause of sighs and regrets in their hearts. It is Allah that gives life and causes death by His power as He wishes. And if you are slain or die in Allah's cause,
as a martyr,
pardon from Allah and mercy are far better than all they could amass.
Allah issues His terrorists a pardon, and to make sure no Muslim would miss the message, Ishaq reports,
there is no escape from death, so death for Allah's sake in battle is better than all one can amass in life while holding back from fighting in the fear of death. Let not the world deceive you, and be not deceived by it. Let fighting and the reward which Allah holds out to you be the most important thing.
Good Muslims are mercenaries, not missionaries.
Ishaq. Allah says, is one who obeys me like one who has incurred Allah's anger and deserves His anger, whose home is hell? So know there are degrees with Allah, and Allah is a seer of what you do, and all the degrees of what they do in paradise and hell. Allah knows who obeys and those who disobey Him.
If Allah is a seer of what men do, why does He need a test to determine who believes Him? In the upside-down world of Islam, where the good are bad and where the bad are good, we discover.
Ishaq. Allah sent down to you an apostle of your own, reciting to you His verses concerning what you did, and teaching you good and evil, that you might know what is good and to do it, and know what is bad and refrain from it, and so that you might gain much from obeying Him, and avoid His wrath proceeding from disobedience, and thereby escape His vengeance, and obtain the reward of His garden of bliss.
If you were reading this out of context, it would sound rational and religious. Yet in context it is neither. Allah and Muhammad have made a career out of defining bad as not fighting, and good as killing infidels. Since Muhammad had orchestrated 24 terrorist raids to fund his fledgling religion, and since his God had said that booty is lawful and good, this is quite a contradiction.
Quran 3, verse 161. It is not for any prophet to embezzle. Whoever embezzles will bring what he embezzled with him on the day of doom. Then every soul will be paid in full what it has earned.
Stealing booty at sword point, in other words, armed robbery, in the name of Islam is an honest day's work, but embezzling is bad. Okay, I understand.
Quran 3, verse 162. Is the man who follows the good pleasure of Allah like the man who draws on himself the wrathful condemnation of Allah, whose abode is the hell fire, a woeful destination?
This is supposed to be a rhetorical question, but think about it. Then back to war.
Quran 3, verse 165. What? When a single disaster smites you, although you smote with one twice as great, do you say, whence is this? Say, it is from yourselves.
'Cause it couldn't be the Prophet's fault after all.
What you suffered on the day the armies clashed was by permission of Allah, that He might know the true believers.
This verse and those that follow would make little sense had we not put them into the context of the Sira and Tarikh. Muhammad's favorite epithet for a bad, peace-loving Muslim was hypocrite. Let's listen in as he condemns them again for not fighting.
Quran 3:167. And that he might know the hypocrites unto whom it was said, Come, fight in Allah's cause, or at least drive. They said, Had we known how to fight, we should certainly have followed you. They were that day nearer to unbelief than to faith, saying with their lips what was not in their hearts, but Allah hath full knowledge of all they conceal.
Peaceful Muslims are hypocrites. They don't even know how to fight. Good Muslims are jihadists. They are expert fighters in Allah's cause. Allah despises pacifists.
Quran 3:168. Those who, while they sat at home, said of their brethren slain fighting for the cause of Allah, while they themselves sit at home with ease, if only they had listened to us,
and been bad Muslims,
they would not have been killed. Say, avert death from your own selves if you speak the truth.
Ah, but there's a reward for the militants.
Quran 3:169. Think not of those who are slain in Allah's cause as dead. Nay, they live, finding provision from their Lord.
All jihadists go to heaven. Well, the first 70,000 anyway, if you can believe Muhammad. Unfortunately, you have to be a bad person to get there.
Jubilant in the bounty provided by Allah, and with regard to those left behind who have not yet joined them in their bliss, the martyrs glory in the fact that on them is no fear, nor have they cause to grieve. Allah will not waste the reward of the believers.
This is one of the many Quran verses Muslim suicide bombers read on videotape prior to slaughtering innocent women and children. Islam, in its original, uncorrupted, and most fundamental form, manufactures terrorists. If bad men misinterpreted Allah's words in the Quran, or Muhammad's example in the Hadith, to justify their criminal behavior, then it would be different. But that is not the case. Anyone who acts like Muhammad will be a sexual pervert, a vicious thief, and a genocidal terrorist. Anyone who obeys the Quran will be a killer, motivated by greed.